I am so excited today to have with us a very special guest. Jason, would you please introduce yourself? Tell everyone where you live and what company you're with.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm Jason Kemp. I'm in Hartford, Connecticut, home of the Huskies, and I work with FiveStar Realty.
Awesome. You are going to talk to us today about discipline. And I am so excited because all you have to do is look right behind you and you can see that this is something you're focusing on all the time.
100%. 100%. Discipline. Absolutely. Yeah, discipline is very important, especially when it comes to being a real estate agent.
It is, but how do you develop the discipline? Because there's so many people who, they're going to start at 9, and now all of a sudden it's 11:30 and they haven't done anything. So
Right,
how do you
100%.
develop discipline?
Well, a discipline is it comes from a lot of different things. I mean, it's like Tony says, it starts the night before. So you absolutely have to get prepared for your day the night before, and then from there, it's like Mike says, you gotta think big. Gotta have goals. When you have big goals to think about, it's not hard to get up out of bed in the morning and get excited about your day.
You obviously do have a ritual that you go through the night before. Do you always take like 20 minutes or something the night before? How do you set this up? What could someone else do who would like to build their discipline?
So my night before, it ends about let's say about 7 o'clock, right? 7 o'clock to 8. What I do is, like Bernie says, he always used to work an hour on his business every day. So I take an hour out of my schedule every night to work on my business. I go through what I did. I start tracking my numbers for the day. I start doing my to-do list for my admins the next day. And then I will sit back and I will work on my business, whatever that I had to do that came up with on my to-do list that day.
Okay, so you keep a to-do list. How does stuff get on your to-do list? Something comes up, you just write it down, or what's the process for you?
It's very important that I keep a notepad next to me all day long. All right. So I prospect 4 hours out of the day. And
Wow.
anytime anything comes in my head, I immediately write it down. Now, if I don't have that notepad with me, I immediately put it in my calendar because I know that I'm more than likely will forget it. All right. So then when I do get around a notepad, what I do is I write it in my to-do schedule. I write it on my notes, and I write it on my monthly calendar so that I'm
Okay.
constantly looking at it throughout the day so that I make sure that I'm hitting everything I possibly need.
Well, yeah, now you're focusing on what needs to be done all the time. That's a good idea. And you write it in 3 different places. Do you
Right.
put
I'm
it
writing it.
in a computer or is it always written?
It's written only because, as Mike says, there's nothing like writing it down. Once you write it down, it's etched in your brain, and then it becomes visual. So I try to write it down and then make it visual, so that I'm constantly focused on what I need to do throughout the day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Technology is so great, but there's no substitute for writing it down and looking at it. And Mike would definitely say that. A notepad, you never have to turn it on. It's always there. A pen
Always
works.
there,
So makes
and
it
it's cost
easy.
efficient.
And it is cost efficient.
Right.
So, what would you say is your one biggest strength in your discipline? Like, how do you keep your mindset to always be positive and staying on task?
I keep my goals always in front of me, whether it's through my vision board. I keep my goals in front of me, and that is enough to get me to go where I need to go.
You know what? That's a great thought because so often people, you have to figure out what motivates you. And you created an environment that supports you. You can tell just by looking behind you. So, what made you do that? Give us one quick thought on that. So, because we're almost out of time, but I'd love to hear why you have all this stuff around you.
You got to see the rest of the room.
Okay.
I'm a driver, right? My mind moves very, very fast. My backup is analytical, so I'm constantly thinking. So if I don't have something to look at all the time, or I have a notepad to write things down, I'm always on a go, right?
Yeah.
So I need to be able to slow down and concentrate on what I need to do because I'm running a business. I have people who depend on me. Right? It takes the drive, and then it takes the thinking to think it through.
Perfect. So, if you could give us just one thing to do today, What would it be that you would tell everyone who's listening?
Well, it's like Mike says, it's stick to your schedule 70 to 75% of the time. All right, your schedule is your boss. As long as you have your schedule, you know where you're going, or it's like a ship without a rudder.
And we don't want to be that.
No.
Thank you for taking the time to share
Thank
all of
you.
this with us. What
Thank
fun.
you.
Thanks, Jason.